On today's menu is a recipe using bell peppers stuffed with delicious masala chicken and finished in a more delicious masala sauce. Namaskar and welcome to Curries with Mumbi. I will first make a ginger garlic tomato puree. So blend a jar out and in goes garlic, ginger and tomatoes. The ingredient proportions are given in detail in the description box. Please click on the option More situated below the title of the video to view the description box. We need a smooth paste like this. Next, heat a pan over medium-high heat with 2 tablespoons of oil. Add chopped onions along with a pinch of salt and fry the onions for a few minutes. You do not need to brown the onions. Just fry them a little bit and then add the minced chicken. Now increase the heat to high and with your spoon loosen up the meat and try laying them out in a single layer. You want that initial moisture coming out from the chicken to dry up a little bit. Give a stir from time to time. When the meat changes its color from pink to a paler creamish color, add half of the blended ginger garlic tomato puree. Remember to save the other half because we need that later for making the sauce. Then in goes Mr. Potato diced up into small pieces. Next is spice time. 2 teaspoons of curry powder, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, half a teaspoon of chilli powder, freshly crushed black pepper, and a teaspoon of salt. Stir on medium-high heat till everything gets coated with the spice powders. Next, add a tablespoon of all-purpose flour. Stir well on medium heat till everything gets coated with that flour and stir for 2 minutes. The flour will act as a binding here. Then add half a cup of hot water, cover on low heat for 15 to 20 minutes. And here is Mr. Bo, waiting patiently but tilting his head and talking to me. Okay, 20 minutes done, the potatoes have become soft. If you see your potatoes are not soft, then cover again and give it some more minutes. I added half a teaspoon of garam masala powder, chopped green chilies, which are totally optional. And today I am using parsley because I am running out of coriander leaves. Then with your spatula, mash everything, especially the potatoes. Mash them at this point because it will be easier when they are hot. Then heat off, transfer them to a bowl and let them cool down a bit. In the meantime, let's prep the bell peppers. These are all from my container gardening. Using a paring knife, just carve out around the stem and discard the seeds. Do not cut out a large hole but just around the stem. I like using medium to small sized bell peppers instead of using large ones. So choose smaller ones when shopping for this recipe. You can use different colored peppers as well if you do not like green bell peppers. Before stuffing them with meat mixture, sprinkle some salt inside each pepper. Seasoning the peppers is very important or else they will taste bland. Okay, the meat is just warm enough to handle now. I like using my fingers to stuff the peppers. Pack as much of stuffing possible because that will help them to stay in place instead of spilling out. Okay, all my peppers are stuffed up and a lot of stuffing is still remaining. You can use it up by making wraps, or you can also freeze this for later use, or you can also have this as a side with paratha or rice. Next, we will now make a sauce. Heat 4 tablespoons of oil. Add chopped onions along with a pinch of salt. Stir on medium heat till onions become golden brown in color. Then again, it is spice time. So add a splash of water to bring down the temperature of the pan so that the spices don't burn. 2 heaped teaspoons of curry powder, a teaspoon of Kashmiri chilli powder. Always add less of chilli powder, lesser than what I am using to start with. You can always add later, but once chili powder is added, it is very hard to take out that heat. Then a teaspoon of sweet paprika, which is optional, but it gives this beautiful ruby red color. Half a teaspoon of turmeric powder. Stir on low heat for a minute. And then add the other half of that ginger garlic tomato paste, which you had saved earlier. A teaspoon of salt goes in, and I also like adding a teaspoon of sugar to balance the flavors. But my friends, as I always say, sugar is totally optional. Stir on medium heat for a minute or two, and then cover it for 2 more minutes on low heat. After 2 minutes, lid off, and now it's time for the stuffed peppers to be seated on that gorgeous masala sauce. If you see your pepper not sitting properly because of uneven edges, then cut a little bit of those edges, but do not cut so deep that the stuffing will come out. Next, add about half a cup of hot water around the peppers, and then cover on low heat for 20 minutes or until the peppers get soft. You do not want the peppers to become too soft. Now my friends, mushy-dushy bell peppers taste horrible. So use a knife and check for doneness. I also like feeling them with my fingers, but please do not try this method if you are not comfortable enough to handle hot stuff. Then spoon some of that gorgeous sauce on top of each pepper. Serve this as a side with rice, or you can also serve it as an appetizer. It is extremely delicious. Now my friends, please do share my recipes with your friends and family so that more people get to try these recipes, and that in turn will help me to bring more recipes for you. Please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't yet. Bye bye.